So you're at rock bottom. You're in the lowest point in life that you've ever been in. You have no money at all. You're completely broke. You're out of shape. Have no friends. Get zero attention from girls, even though you want a girlfriend so bad, but you could get no validation or attention whatsoever. And at the same time, even though you want to improve in all of these things, no matter what you do, you can't seem to get yourself out of this rut. No matter what you've tried in the past, it just doesn't work. And at the same time, you're probably battling multiple addictions, such as video games, or your phone, or fast food, whether it be drugs or alcohol, or even watching certain videos that you know you shouldn't be watching, but continue to do so no matter what it is. I have good news and bad news for you. The good news is that you're not alone. Most 18 to 13-year-olds actually fit this description and live this silent depression of invisibility pretty much all of their lives. But the bad news is whoever's in this 18 to 30-year-old category that does fit this description, no one's happy to be here. No one actually wants to be associated with this group. So good news is that you're not alone, but the bad news is, again, who wants to identify as this? Problem with being at rock bottom for a very long period of time, whether it be just even a couple of months, couple of years, or even decades for some of you, the problem is that if changes aren't made fast, this can cause almost lifelong or irreparable depression if this doesn't get changed soon. A man needs some light at the end of the tunnel in order to feel alive so that he can go conquer what it is that he set his mind out to. And honestly, for the reason why I'm making this video is that 2 years ago, I was actually in a very similar situation to the situation I described at the beginning of this video, where I was completely out of shape, was doing really poorly in school, failing classes for the first time in my life, struggled to make friends completely, was getting zero attention from whether it be guys or girls, getting any sort of validation to like somewhat inflate your confidence, no matter how vain you want to say it is. We as men need some sort of validation in order to keep going. And the reason why I'm making this video is that, like many of you guys, I was in a very similar situation just about 2 years ago. I was doing really poorly in school. I was failing classes for the first time. I was really overweight, which also was a first for me because I played basketball my entire life. So I was always in shape until now. So I was completely out of shape, was never working out, had very bad social skills in the sense it was really hard for me to make friends. I was getting zero attention from guys or girls. And on top of that, I wasn't working anywhere because I was a freshman in college. So I had zero money in my bank account. So I had nothing in my life to feel good about at the time. And that's probably the lowest I've ever been. And this probably lasted until my sophomore year of college. While things did get better in between after my first year, I was definitely nowhere where I wanted to be. And that's why I call this stage rock bottom, which is probably what most of you are facing right now. Ever since then until now, which I'm in my last semester of my senior year, my life has been on a complete upward trajectory, and I want to keep increasing as much as I can so I can look back at this when I'm maybe 25 and 26 and be grateful for the steps that I took and be grateful for the steps that I took to improve my life. But I want to just make a quick disclaimer that I am nowhere where I want to be in life. And I don't even consider this just the beginning. I think this is like the preface to the beginning of this journey where my life has improved. And I would say I've probably increased a level or two. If I was completely at zero before, I would say I've improved maybe a level or two, which is why I feel like I can talk to some of you guys who are completely at rock bottom. I want to give you guys actionable tips and steps that you can use to implement in your life so that you can somewhat see yourself on an upward trajectory. So the first actionable step is that if you're completely at zero, rock bottom, again, no friends, no money, out of shape, you're in the worst situation you can possibly be in, and it really can't get much better. The first thing I want you to do is realize the situation. Realize how bad of a situation you're in and come to terms with this. In a way, it's actually pretty good where you are right now. You know why? Because it really doesn't get much worse than this. If you've been able to, I don't want to say handle, but if you've been able to go through this situation by yourself of just complete misery and loneliness and lack of achievements completely by your own, and you're still standing and able to still, I guess, live somewhat of a normal life, it's a huge congrats to you, because not everyone can say that. A lot of men, due to poor mental health, end up taking their lives or end up getting into way worse situations than you're in right now. So the fact that you're still here to be able to watch this video just shows that you do have potential. So I want you to first realize that the situation you're in won't get much worse. Like if you're really at rock bottom, and I mean you're in the dumps right now, it's only upward from here. So that I want this to be somewhat a bit more of positivity, that even though you have a long road to go, it doesn't get much worse than this. So if you've been able to handle this so far, just realize that it only gets better from here. And hopefully this gives you the positivity, motivation, and inspiration to keep going. Now, the second more actionable step that I want you to take after you realize that it can't get much worse than this, the first thing that you got to do if you're at rock bottom is to understand what physiology is. You need to understand that you right now, the reason why you are where you're at right now is because your mind is not working with you and your mind is working against you. Now, to fix this mental problem, it doesn't start with your mind. To fix this mental problem, you got to start with your body first. People often talk about people have depression, but it's actually people do depression. What does that mean? When people are depressed, what do? Their bodies are usually slouched forward. Their head is tilted forward. They usually talk a lot softer instead of talking loudly. In terms of breathing, they take much more shallow breaths rather than deep breaths. But if you do all of the opposite things, it actually signals to your brain that all is good and you're doing fine. Imagine right now, try it with me. Try sitting up, putting your shoulders back, deepening your voice, talking really, really loudly. You can even hear it in my voice right now, deepening. But you talk louder, you change your physiology, and you do things that are the opposite of what someone who's depressed would do. Think about it's the Super Bowl and you just scored a winning touchdown, or it's the NBA Finals and you just scored a buzzer beater at the last second. Are you going to be like this, down and out? No, you're going to be ecstatic, with huge chest, talk like screaming really, really loudly and be super pumped of the achievement that you just made, right? It's not only the fact that the achievement made you happy, but it's the whole fact that your whole body responded to the achievement. Do you see what I mean? In order to improve your life first, you must change your physiology by changing your body language, by changing your voice, by changing your breathing especially. But more than that, after you change your physiology, you have to do some sort of physical work. Whether that be running outside, whether that be going to the gym and lifting weights, whether that be playing a sport. By now, you've understood that the body responds really well to physical exercise. There's such a strong correlation between your cortisol levels dropping. That's the stress hormone in your body. Your cortisol levels drop really, really low after your exercise, and you can start thinking with a clear mind. And naturally, when you start working out more often, your body's also going to look better, which is also going to influence your confidence, and your confidence is completely a mental thing. And once you build the discipline to not only go consistently, you have the confidence in yourself that I can actually start trusting myself when I start setting out goals and now that I'm hitting them. And then now combine that with the fact that you're actually physically looking better. Physical activity alone and going to the gym and fitness is the one thing that will influence all of these areas in your life that you're struggling with. Because right now you don't have confidence in yourself. And the best way to just start doing that is by doing some physical activity. One, all that stress, all of that negative voices in your head completely goes down after a really strenuous or intense workout. And it's very important to realize that going to the gym isn't so much about intensity, it's more about consistency. So you don't have to do a workout that's really, really super intense and try to overdo it and try to lift really heavy weights or try to lift or run really, really hard in your first workout because you want to improve your life. Rather, because you have bad habits right now, do a minimal or medium level workout and just make sure that you do it every single day, 5, 6, 7 days a week when you're first starting, and then cut it down from there. But just realize that your physiology impacts your mind. People often talk about mental health and kind of categorize mental health as its own thing. Physical health and mental health are both completely tied together. Imagine that you have a physical condition such as you're paralyzed, for example. How do you think your mind's going to be? Your mind's going to be completely depressed because everything is linked, right? Now that you can't physically walk anymore, your mind's going to respond accordingly. And it's the same thing. Right now that you're overweight, you're physically out of shape, you get tired just by walking up the stairs. That signals to your brain that you're dying, basically, right? And you're not going to feel great. Don't separate the two. Change your physiology. Change what you're doing on a daily basis in the terms of the way you walk, the way you keep your shoulders. Instead of talking softly, talk louder. And instead of breathing shallow, breathe from your diaphragm. This is all signals to your brain that you're alive, healthy, and well. From there, start doing some physical activity every single day and focus more on in consistency rather than intensity. And make sure that you understand that there's no difference between mental health and physical health, and understand that the two are very much linked. The third actionable step that I want to give you is that you must practice some form of mindfulness every single day. That can either be meditation, that can be journaling. Journaling is not something I've really tried myself, but I've heard there are massive benefits of trying it. I haven't actually engaged in it, and it's something that I do want to try, but I haven't actually done it too much to give you too much advice on it. But meditation is something that I do every single day. Some form of breath work or either yoga, something you must do to practice mindfulness every single day. And again, your mind is the reason why you are where you're at right now. You're basically, you're not in a good mental mind frame. The reason is because the voices in your head are extremely loud. There are so many voices in your mind that are telling you how terrible you are and how you suck, how you're a loser, how if you start doing good habits now, all of a sudden it's like, this is too hard, I want to do what I was doing before. All of these voices and these negative emotions that are in your mind right now, just circling around, that are going to stop you from doing what you're supposed to do. Meditation or some form of yoga or whatever it is that you do for mindfulness will completely quiet those thoughts by at least 60 to 80%, and you'll notice such a big change in your life. In order to get out of rock bottom, you need to quiet those voices, because those voices are not going to help you. Even when you do get better, there's going to be so many more times when you know you're supposed to go to the gym, but your mind, because it's so conditioned to the life you've been living of never getting off the couch, eating fast food, skipping workouts, not doing the hard work of studying, or not doing the hard work of working on your business. Your mind has become accustomed to that. So now for you to suddenly switch that, your mind is going to be completely working against you. And meditation quiets those voices, those negative emotions in the back of the mind. Journaling as well, instead of having those thoughts up here, you put it on paper, so it's no longer just in your head. And if you don't have anyone to talk to, especially this really works well for those people as well. Yoga also kind of takes you out of your mind and puts you more into your body. It kind of relates to step number 2. You're making major shifts in your life that are really positive, but because your body and mind aren't used to it, you're gonna have a lot of thoughts holding you back. And it's in these times where you must push forward. Especially, there's gonna be times where you want to sit on the couch, eat fast food, watch Netflix, but if you really want to change your life, you must quiet these voices at the back of your head that are basically holding you like handcuffs almost. So by practicing some form of meditation, some form of gratitude journaling or yoga, takes those negative thoughts out of you and puts you more back into your body. And this is exactly what you need in a time where you're trying to make major changes. The voices up here have to be quiet, otherwise you won't see any success. I've basically done all of these steps that I've mentioned in this video, and I still do them till this day. And it's only going to be after a couple of years of completely documenting this process to show you exactly how far just these simple tips can take you. But this is what's taken me from, again, I only think I've leveled up a level or 2 right now. This is what's taken me from rock bottom out, so I know that it works. And I promise, if you dedicate yourself to focusing on the 3 tips that I mentioned in this video, there's absolutely no stopping you. And whatever you want to do will come your way. So hopefully you've gotten some value from this video. So please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what kind of videos you want me to make in the future. But it'll probably be something related to this in some way. But yeah, once again, I just hope you've gotten some value from this video. And please let me know, I guess within a couple of weeks, how these tips have worked for you. But that's all I have for this video. Peace.